All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay and with me is Sunil Verma. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says Uttar Pradesh will give momentum to India's growth story in the 21st century, lays foundation stone for projects worth over 80,000 crore rupees at UP Investor Summit in Lucknow. President Ramnath Kovind to address 90th year celebrations of Merchants Chamber of Uttar Pradesh at Kanpur today, to also attend centenary celebration of Gita Press at Gorakhpur. Union Home Minister Amit Shah holds high-level review meeting on security situation in Jammu and Kashmir. Hizbul commander killed in encounter in Anantnag district of Jammu and Kashmir. Centre asks Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Telangana, Karnataka, Maharashtra to take prompt steps to contain COVID-19. In wrestling, India's Sakshi Malik, Divya Kakran, Mansi Ehlawat win gold medals at the Bolev Turlikanov Cup in Kazakhstan. In French Open tennis top seed Iga Swiatek to face Coco Gauff in the title clash of the women's singles this evening. Casper Ruud set up clash with Rafael Nadal in the men's singles final. And fourth edition of Khelo India Youth Games officially begins in Haryana this evening with glittering opening ceremony. Prime Minister Narendra Modi laid the foundation stone of 1,406 projects worth more than 80,000 crore rupees in the third groundbreaking ceremony of the Uttar Pradesh Investor Summit in Lucknow yesterday. The projects encompass diverse sectors like agriculture and allied, IT and electronics, MSME, manufacturing, renewable energy, pharma, tourism, defense and aerospace, handloom and textiles. Speaking on this occasion, the Prime Minister said that improved law and order has prepared environment for investment in the state. He said Uttar Pradesh will give momentum to the growth story of India in the 21st century.
80,000 करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा के निवेश से संबंधित समझौते यहां हुए हैं। ये रिकॉर्ड निवेश यूपी में रोजगार के हजारों नए अवसर बनाएगा। ये भारत के साथ ही उत्तर प्रदेश की ग्रोथ स्टोरी पर बढ़ते विश्वास को दिखाता है। मैं यूपी के नौजवानों को विशेष बधाई दूंगा क्योंकि इसका सबसे बड़ा लाभ यूपी के युवकों को, युवतियों को, हमारे नई पीढ़ी को होने वाला है। साथियों, इस समय हम अपनी आजादी के 75वें वर्ष का पर्व मना रहे हैं। आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव मना रहे हैं। ये समय अगले 25 वर्षों के लिए अमृत काल, नए संकल्प का काल, नए लक्ष्यों का काल और नए लक्ष्यों को प्राप्त करने के लिए सबका प्रयास के मंत्र को लेकर के परिश्रम की पराकाष्ठा करने का अमृत काल है।
On the achievements of the NDA government in the last 8 years, Mr. Modi said that the policy of reform, perform and transform, along with policy stability and ease of doing business, has strengthened the nation.
हमने अपने रिफॉर्म से एक राष्ट्र के रूप में भारत को मजबूती देने का काम किया है। वन नेशन, वन टैक्स, जीएसटी हो, वन नेशन, वन ग्रिड हो, वन नेशन, वन मोबिलिटी कार्ड हो, वन नेशन, वन राशन कार्ड हो, ये सारे प्रयास हमारी ठोस और स्पष्ट नीतियों का प्रतिबिंब है।
He said that in the last 8 years, a new culture of completing projects on time has developed in the country. The Prime Minister said India has attracted $84 billion of FDI in the last fiscal year.
हम G20 अर्थव्यवस्थाओं में सबसे तेजी से ग्रो कर रहे हैं। आज भारत ग्लोबल रिटेल इंडेक्स में दूसरे नंबर पे है। भारत दुनिया का तीसरा सबसे बड़ा एनर्जी कंज्यूमर देश है। बीते साल दुनिया के 100 से अधिक देशों से $84 बिलियन का रिकॉर्ड एफडीआई आया है। भारत ने बीते वित्तीय वर्ष में $417 बिलियन यानी 30 लाख करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा का मर्केंडाइज एक्सपोर्ट करके नया रिकॉर्ड बनाया है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi yesterday said the development of villages is his government's priority. Many schemes have been launched for this purpose and many facilities are now reaching villages. He said this while addressing a gathering at Paronk village, the native village of President Ramnath Kovind in Kanpur Dehat district of Uttar Pradesh.
आज जब देश अपनी आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव मना रहा है तो ग्रामीण भारत के लिए, हमारे गांवों के लिए हमारे सपने और भी महत्वपूर्ण हो जाते हैं। हमारे स्वाधीनता संग्राम के दौरान महात्मा गांधी भारत की आजादी को भारत के गांव से जोड़कर देखते थे। भारत का गांव यानी जहां आध्यात्म भी हो, आदर्श भी हो। भारत का गांव यानी जहां परंपराएं भी हो और प्रगतिशीलता भी हो। भारत का गांव यानी जहां संस्कार भी हो और सहकार भी हो, जहां ममता भी हो और समता भी हो। आज आजादी के अमृत काल में ऐसे ही गांवों का पुनर्गठन, उनका पुनर्जागरण, ये हमारा कर्तव्य है।
The Prime Minister appealed to people to contribute in building and maintaining the Amrit Sarovars.
भारत के गांवों का सशक्तिकरण हमारी सरकार की सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकताओं में से एक। जनधन योजना हो, आवास योजना हो, उज्ज्वला के तहत मिला गैस कनेक्शन हो, हर घर जल अभियान हो, आयुष्मान भारत योजना हो, इन सभी का लाभ करोड़ों गांव वासियों को मिला है। गरीब कल्याण के लिए देश ने जिस गति से काम किया है वो अभूतपूर्व है। अब देश का एक लक्ष्य है हर योजना का 100% लाभ 100% लाभार्थियों तक पहुंचाना, यानी 100% सशक्तिकरण। न कोई भेदभाव, न कोई फर्क, यही तो सामाजिक न्याय है।
The Prime Minister, along with the President, attended Mera Gaon, Meri Dharohar program organized in Paronk under the series of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. President Ram Nath Kovind will address the 90th year celebrations of the Merchants Chamber of Uttar Pradesh at Kanpur at 11 a.m. today. Talking to AIR News, member of the Merchants Chamber of Uttar Pradesh and co-convener of BJP's economic wing, Bobby Pathak said, it's a historic moment for the organization.
मर्चेंट चैम्बर के हम लोग के 90 साल पूरे हो रहे हैं कि राष्ट्रपति जी इस कार्यक्रम में आ रहे हैं और मर्चेंट चैम्बर के लिए भी गौरव की बात है और कानपुर नगर के लिए भी गौरव की बात। ये मर्चेंट चैम्बर 1935 में स्थापित हुआ था और लंदन से इसकी परमिशन ली गई थी आजादी से पहले।
President Kovind reached Uttar Pradesh yesterday on a 4-day visit to the state. President Kovind will also grace the centenary celebrations of Gita Press in Gorakhpur this afternoon. Governor Anandiben Patel and Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath will also be present on the occasion. More from our correspondent.
The main event will be held at around 5 o'clock in the evening in the premises of Gita Press, the world's largest publisher of the Hindu religious books. Trustees of the Gita Press who have gathered from across the states will welcome the President. Devi Dayal Agrawal, one of the trustees of the Gita Press, told AIR News,
गीता प्रेस में राष्ट्रपति महोदय पहुंचने वाले हैं। देश के विभिन्न भागों से हमारे ट्रस्टी हैं वो पधारे हैं। उनके द्वारा सर्वप्रथम उनका सम्मान किया जाएगा। इसके बाद राष्ट्रपति महोदय लीला चित्र मंदिर में दर्शन करेंगे। जो ऐसे चित्रों के जो हमारी पुस्तकों पर अनादिकाल से छपते आए हैं एवं उनकी मूल प्रति उसमें सजाकर रखी हुई है। इसके बाद राष्ट्रपति महोदय द्वारा श्रीमद् भगवद गीता एवं श्री रामचरितमानस जो विशिष्ट रूप में छापे गए हैं उनका विमोचन उनके द्वारा होगा।
After the event at Gita Press, the President will visit Gorakhnath Temple for Darshan Pujan. President Kovind will spend the evening at the shores of the iconic Ramgarh Tal, where he will watch the spectacular light and sound show. Aditya Shukla, AIR News, Gorakhpur.
The Union Ministry of Women and Child Development will be holding a series of zonal and sub-zonal meetings across the country from today to highlight the achievements of the NDA government during the last 8 years under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The first meeting in the series will be held at Raipur in Chhattisgarh today. The meeting will be chaired by Women and Child Development Minister Smriti Irani. More from a correspondent.
Members of Parliament from Chhattisgarh, West Bengal and Odisha, Women and Child Development Ministers of these states and senior officials will participate in the sub-zonal meeting to be held in Raipur today. During the meeting, Union Women and Child Development Minister Smriti Irani will review the implementation of various schemes. The beneficiaries of various schemes will also share their experiences during the meeting. An open dialogue will also be organized on this occasion. 15 such meetings are being organized across the country by the Union Women and Child Development Ministry from today to July 9. Union Minister Smriti Irani will also visit the Anganwadi Kendra located in Uparwara village during her visit to Raipur. Vikalp Shukla, AIR News, Raipur.
Home Minister Amit Shah held a high-level meeting in New Delhi yesterday to review the security situation in Jammu and Kashmir. Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir Manoj Sinha and senior officials attended the meeting. Last month as well, Mr. Shah held meetings to review the security situation in the Union Territory as well as the preparations for the Amarnath Yatra. The minister had directed security forces and the police to conduct coordinated counter-terrorism operations proactively. Mr. Shah had said the security forces should ensure zero cross-border infiltration to wipe out terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir.
In Jammu and Kashmir, a Hizbul Mujahideen commander was killed in an overnight encounter with security forces in Anantnag district. While quoting Kashmir's Inspector General of Police, Vijay Kumar, the Kashmir Zone Police in a tweet said a terrorist commander of proscribed Hizbul Mujahideen terror outfit identified as Nisar Khande was killed in a gunfight with security forces at Rishipura area in the district. In the initial exchange of fire, which started last evening, 3 army personnel and 1 civilian were also injured, who have been airlifted to Army's 92 base hospital in Srinagar for treatment and are stated to be stable. Incriminating materials, arms and ammunition, including 1 AK-47 rifle, has been recovered from the encounter sites. The centre has asked governments of Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Telangana, Karnataka and Maharashtra to continue implementation and monitoring of necessary measures for prompt and effective management of COVID-19. Union Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan has written a letter to these 5 states in view of the rise in weekly COVID-19 cases and positivity rate. In the letter, Mr. Bhushan has advised the states to ensure compliance with various advisories issued by the health ministries. He said the 5-fold strategy like test, track, treat, vaccination should be followed with continued focus on COVID-appropriate behavior, monitoring clusters of new COVID-19 and adequate testing. Talking to AIR News, Chairman COVID Task Force N.K. Arora said,
Number of cases in India today have crossed 1,000. This is a matter of concern. It appears that people have given up the corona-appropriate behavior. Since most of us are immunized, it is important that we strictly adhere to corona-appropriate behavior. Just like when there is rain, we start using umbrella. Similarly, since the cases are increasing, let us use masks, keep away from crowded places and maintain our hand hygiene so that the spread of infection is not there or decreased.
All India Radio News has launched a weekly interactive program Abhyas for competitive examinations. It is aimed at reaching out to students and job seekers preparing for competitive examinations. The program is in Hindi and is broadcast every Saturday between 9:30 to 10 p.m. Every week a subject is chosen. Students can ask questions through WhatsApp or email and a guest speaker or expert responds to the queries. Questions on each subject are selected on the basis of crowdsourcing from the students across the country. The program also includes segments like Explainer, Fact File, Examination Calendar and Question of the Week. The 10th episode of the program will be aired today. The topic for this episode is Environment and Climate Change. All India Radio News has got an overwhelming response for the show with questions received from across the country. Professor Subha Kanto Mahapatra, Discipline of Geography, School of Sciences under Indira Gandhi National Open University IGNOU, will be responding to the queries of the aspirants. The 10th episode of Abhyas will be on air on 100.1 FM Gold at 9:30 p.m. today. You can access it on Twitter at @AIR News Alerts or on AIR News official YouTube channel and also the News on AIR app. Also, for the next episode on 11 June, the subject chosen is Economy. Students can send their queries on WhatsApp number 9289094044 or mail on abhyas.air@gmail.com. The deadline for submission of questions is 8 June 2022. So join us at All India Radio News for the Abhyas every Saturday at 9:30 p.m. on 100.1 FM Gold.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says Uttar Pradesh will give momentum to India's growth story in the 21st century. Lays foundation stone for projects worth over 80,000 crore rupees at UP Investor Summit in Lucknow. President Ram Nath Kovind to address 90th year celebrations of Merchants Chamber of Uttar Pradesh at Kanpur today. To also attend centenary celebrations of Gita Press at Gorakhpur. Union Home Minister Amit Shah holds high-level review meeting on security situation in Jammu and Kashmir. Hizbul commander killed in encounter in Anantnag district of Jammu and Kashmir. Centre asks Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Telangana, Karnataka and Maharashtra to take prompt steps to contain COVID-19. In wrestling, India's Sakshi Malik, Divya Kakram, Mansi Ehlawat win gold medals at Bolat Turlikhanov Cup in Kazakhstan. In French Open tennis, top seed Iga Swiatek to face Coco Gauff in title clash of women's singles this evening. Casper Ruud set up clash with Rafael Nadal in men's singles final. And fourth edition of Khelo India Youth Games officially begins in Haryana this evening with glittering opening ceremony. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का सुलभ और सस्ता माध्यम है आकाशवाणी।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न केंद्रों से कीजिए अपने उत्पादों और सेवाओं का प्रचार विज्ञापनों के माध्यम से।
लोकल और राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर कीजिए अपने बिजनेस का विस्तार, क्योंकि आकाशवाणी में विज्ञापन बुकिंग हुई बहुत ही आसान।
अब घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे आप कर सकते हैं विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
डायल कीजिए 870-001-4242।
नंबर एक बार फिर नोट करें, 870-001-4242।
Welcome back. You are listening to the morning news. The Narendra Modi government over the last 8 years has taken several steps for the empowerment and holistic development of the youth of the country. India, which is the second most populous country in the world, is also one of the youngest nations, with about 65% of its population under 35 years of age. Youth is the backbone of any country, and all-round development of the nation lies in the achievements. Our correspondent reports that the foundation of India's future has been strengthened by laying major emphasis on the skill development of the youth.
The Narendra Modi government launched the Skill India mission in 2015 with an aim to empower the youth of the country and develop India as the skill capital of the world. The mission gained tremendous momentum through the launch of its flagship scheme, Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Since the inception of the scheme till April this year, more than 1,35 lakh youth have been imparted job-oriented training, and skill certification of more than 1,08 lakh youth was done. Out of these, 56% youth have become self-reliant by getting employment. Julima Deka of Guwahati, Assam had set an example in adventure sports by taking training through the scheme.
एडवेंचर माउंटेनियरिंग का कोर्स किया मैंने, उसके बाद मैंने कौशल विकास का जो ट्रेनिंग लिया, उसके बाद मैंने एडवेंचर का स्टार्टअप मैंने शुरू करी। जैसे कि अभी मेरे अंदर विंटर सीजन में 30 के करीब लड़का काम करते हैं। मेरे लिए ये गर्व की बात है कि एक दिन में दूसरे के अंदर काम करना चाहती थी, लेकिन अभी मेरे अंदर लोग काम कर रहे हैं।
To provide skill training, the government has also increased the industrial training centers. The number of such centers, which was 11,847 in 2014, has gone up to 15,690 in 2021. Anand Kumar, AIR News, Delhi.
The next question of the Amrit Mahotsav quiz will be shared with listeners on Monday, the 6th of June. Celebrate 75 years of India's independence by participating in Amrit Mahotsav quiz with AIR News. And now let's listen to a special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
In today's episode, we remember freedom fighter Moti Bai, who was martyred on the 4th of June 1858. A lieutenant of Rani Lakshmi Bai, Moti Bai took part in fighting against the British forces in and around Jhansi, ousting the British troops from the region.
When the British struck back and reached Jhansi, Moti Bai took lead and fought against the East India Company Army at the Jhansi Fort on 4th June 1858. However, she was injured by the enemy fire and died on the spot. We salute the great warrior, Moti Bai.
We also remember the commander of the cavalry in the army of Rani Lakshmi Bai, Huda Baksh, who played a significant role in organizing and directing the independence activists against the British during the First War of Independence, 1858. Huda Baksh fought back persistently the British Army's offensive on the Jhansi Fort. He was martyred while fighting the British forces on the 4th of June, 1858. We salute the great son of the soil.
We also remember nationalist Achant Lakshmipati, who died on June the 4th, 1962. A firm believer in Gandhian ideology of Swadeshi, Lakshmipati promoted the use of Ayurvedic medicine. A supporter of the establishment of separate Andhra state, Lakshmipati was greatly influenced by the thoughts of the famous saint Ramana Maharishi.
Lakshmipati was born on March 3rd, 1880 in Godavari district of Andhra Pradesh. He obtained a medical degree from Madras Medical College in 1909. He got inspired towards Ayurveda after studying the Vedas, Puranas and Ayurveda texts deeply. He became a disciple of Pandit Gopalacharyalu, the famous Vaidya Ratna of his time. Lakshmipati devoted his life to the promotion of Ayurveda. He was the principal of Madras Ayurvedic College and Trivandrum Ayurvedic College.
The credit for the establishment of the famous Arogya Ashram and Andhra Ayurvedic Pharmacy of Awadhi also goes to him. For the construction of the Arogya Ashram during the British period, the Madras government had accepted financial assistance with the condition that Lakshmipati would give assurance of being loyal to the British government. He refused to give such an assurance and the government withdrew the offer of assistance. Lakshmipati considered the Western education system to be a loss for India.
Lakshmipati had great belief and confidence not only in the effect of Ayurvedic medicines but also in the philosophy of Ayurveda and its spirituality. He tried to bring Ayurveda to the common man and published a number of books. He popularized Ayurveda by conducting Arogya Yatras, screening films, arranging toy shows and singing Arogya songs. He stressed on the protection of health of the people rather than treating the diseases.
We also remember independence activist Sardar Ali, who was born on the 4th of June 1830 in Kota, Rajasthan. Ali was an adjutant in the Narayan Paltan of the Kota State Army and took part in the uprising of the Kota State Army against the British and the pro-British Kota ruler Maharao in 1857. He participated in the attack on the political agency house Kota on 15th of October 1857, where Captain C.E. Burton, the political agent, and his two sons were killed. Ali was also involved in the attack on the Kota fort in November 1857. He died while fighting against the pro-British troops. We salute the great son of the soil, Sardar Ali.
And that brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
In wrestling, Rio Olympics bronze medalist Sakshi Malik won her first international gold medal in almost 5 years at the Bolat Turlikhanov Cup, a UWW ranking series event at Almaty in Kazakhstan yesterday. India's Mansi Helawat and Divya Kakran also finished at the top of the podium in their respective weight categories.
The fourth edition of the Khelo India Youth Games 2021 will officially kick off in Haryana this evening with a glittering opening ceremony. Khelo India, Union Home Minister Amit Shah will be the chief guest at the opening ceremony of the Grand Sports Festival at Panchkula. Union Minister for Youth Affairs and Sports Anurag Thakur, Haryana Chief Minister Manohar Lal and Haryana Sports Minister Sandeep Singh will also attend the ceremony. Khelo India Youth Games is the biggest nationwide grassroots level sports competition in the country. The games will continue till the 13th of this month and will witness as many as 25 sports events which will be held at 5 venues: Panchkula, Ambala, Shahabad, Chandigarh and Delhi. The Chief Minister said about 8,500 players will be taking part in these games. For the first time, all states and union territories are taking part in this edition of the Khelo India Youth Games, with host Haryana fielding the largest contingent of 528 players.
In French Open tennis, world number 1 Iga Swiatek will take on American teenager Coco Gauff in the women's singles final this evening. Top seed Iga Swiatek from Poland, who reached the final in Paris, is on a 34-match winning streak by beating Daria Kasatkina 6-2, 6-1 on Thursday to extend her winning streak to 34 matches.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital Delhi will have heat wave. The minimum temperature was 25 and maximum will be 44 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have generally cloudy sky. Chennai will have partly cloudy sky. Kolkata will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. Jammu will have mainly clear sky. Srinagar will have mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Leh and Gilgit will have partly cloudy sky. Muzaffarabad is likely to have mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Visakhapatnam, Bangalore and Thiruvananthapuram will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Hyderabad will have generally cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Guwahati, Imphal, Kohima, Gangtok, Shillong, Aizawl, Itanagar and Agartala will have generally cloudy sky with few spells of rain or thunder showers.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. The Statesman, quoting Prime Minister Modi, leads, "World looking at India's potential," while the Tribune writes, "India has all it takes to be a reliable partner," says PM. Prime Minister launches 80,000 crore rupees projects at UP Summit, reports Hindustan Times. Shah reviews Kashmir security amid killings, leads the Asian Age. Riots in Kanpur over blasphemy during TV debates, 18 arrested, reports the Pioneer. Scholar of Indian polity Paul Brass passes away at 85, informs the Times of India. The US and India working to build on gains from trade forum, states the Hindu, adding both countries seek more market access for goods, services. And finally, the Economic Times, quoting Union Minister Piyush Goyal, writes, "Restaurants are free to raise their menu prices since there are no price controls on them, but they cannot levy a service charge as that would amount to misleading the consumer."
In some more news, head of the missions from 9 countries will participate in an interaction with Bharatiya Janata Party's National President Jagat Prakash Nadda in New Delhi this evening. The interaction is part of the series of program No BJP initiative launched by the party's national president. During the event, Mr. Nadda will elaborate on the history, struggles, successes, ideology and contribution of the Bharatiya Janata Party and the BJP government in nation building. And now, before I end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says Uttar Pradesh will give momentum to India's growth story in the 21st century, lays foundation stone for projects worth over 80,000 crore rupees at UP Investor Summit in Lucknow. President Ramnath Kovind to address 90th year celebrations of Merchants Chamber of Uttar Pradesh at Kanpur today, to also attend centenary celebration of Gita Press at Gorakhpur. Union Home Minister Amit Shah holds high-level review meeting on security situation in Jammu and Kashmir. Hizbul commander killed in encounter in Anantnag district of Jammu and Kashmir. Centre asks Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Telangana, Karnataka, Maharashtra to take prompt steps to contain COVID-19. In wrestling, India's Sakshi Malik, Divya Kakran and Mansi Ehlawat win gold medals at the Bolat Turlikanov Cup in Kazakhstan. In French Open tennis, top seed Iga Swiatek to face Coco Gauff in the title clash of the women's singles this evening. Casper Ruud set up clash with Rafael Nadal in the men's singles final. And 4th edition of the Khelo India Youth Games officially begins in Haryana this evening with glittering opening ceremony. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.